my woman!
Quaid.
Cut.
Get ready for a surprise!
We can't let him run around. He knows too much. They've got your bug.
I got a lock. There!
The bug's in your skull.
Take this thing out of the case and stick it up your nose. Don't worry, it's self-guiding.
Got him.
I lost him.
Welcome to Mars.
The director was, I called him, Crazy Man, Paul Verhoeven. He wasn't happy, didn't like Stuntman. He was an unmacho type guy. And he didn't respect and understand how much a stunt person had to do and deal with and set up when it came to action, and including pain, the pain factor, and the situations dealing with pain, and what could prevent pain. So, there would be situations, like I explain in the book, with me and with other people. I don't know if there was a great stuntman came from England, put his hand, his forearm on a squib that was supposed to blow, and if you put your forearm on that squib, and if it blows, it blows. It could hurt you. You're supposed to keep your arm out,
Sure.
and that way.
Yeah.
And he accidentally put his arm on it, and he had a big chunk. But what's weird about it is the chunk was out, but his skin blew up like a balloon. So you saw the chunk out through the balloon, through the see-through skin balloon. And he's in pain laying there, and Paul Verhoeven is telling him to get off the goddamn set and bring me another stunt guy in his place.
What?
I don't need to deal with this crap.
Oh, man.
The kind of person he was. And I don't mind saying that. He was a very cruel person. And there were
I'm
others.
surprised by that. I mean, because he's done so many movies with huge stunts, like big stunts. I mean,
Very
Yeah, like he owes the success of his movies to stunt people.
well, yeah, all of his
Well,
big
action
movies.
people, action films, yeah, in general, that's what pisses me off. Is like stunt people make these movies. You're not going to have an action movie without stunt people.
Yeah, it surprises me.
I'm sorry, you're not going to fill it with actors and then get anything that it's going to be fun to watch.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it surprised me also. That's why I wrote things like I wrote about in the book, that you don't normally hear about. Because those kind of things, who would figure that a director could be such an
Jerk.
idiot?
Yeah.
A guy that's
You're right.
so self-centered.
A thoughtless jerk. I mean, you can get somebody killed thinking like that.
Yeah.
You know what I
He
mean?
was that way all through the movie,
I
constantly.
mean,
Well, maybe that's why his career has gone down. Because I mean, he did some big movies, and then, I think after Hollow Man, he hasn't done a whole lot. Showgirls and Hollow Man pretty much killed his career, I think.
And if I firmly believe if I portray him to you as that kind of a person, the way I saw it, and I was with him a lot. And when you're with a person like that a lot, and you see that kind of stuff constantly, that's the way a person is.
Well, that just upsets me for numerous reasons. One, it upsets me just because, I mean, that's just a cruel way to be to people. But it also upsets me because I'm a fan of his, his early work. I mean, I like a lot of his, I love RoboCop. I love Total Recall. I love Starship Troopers is fun. That's just a bummer because I just when you hear, back when I used to be like a local journalist in San Diego, I'd meet people at conventions or interview people. And it's always a shame when you meet somebody and you feel like you hold them up on, a certain way, and then you meet them and it's shattered, like when I met Sam and you guys were like, I mean, you exceeded expectations. You know what I mean? Like you and Sam are so friendly, so personable, so nice.
Oh.
It's just sad for me to hear that about him.
It's very sad. That's why I explain it in the book, because you have and that's like we were saying, maybe that's why he doesn't do anything anymore.
Maybe.
You know, who knows? You know, we're not in his mind. We don't know the reasoning behind that. But, you know, I always found, you know, you couldn't find a person on the set, on the crew, and the cast that was his friend. You know, people just put up with him, you know, and Arnold just thought, you know, played him off as a joke. You know, guys like Arnold and Sven and me and you know, I would, you know, I would give him things back, say things back sometimes to him. You know, you're such a little man. How come you have such a big ego?
Wow.
Wow. And if I wasn't on Arnold's crew, maybe I wouldn't have said that. But
Sure.
You know, Paul Verhoeven knew I was part of his you know, working stunt guys, and you know, I managed to say that, but I said it in a humorous way.
Well, you respect your directors, so I mean, you know, I know. Yeah.
And he tried to hurt me once or twice, Paul Verhoeven, on the show, and I did get hurt. You know, I explained I did a part on the show where I'm on an escalator, and I play like a yuppie college kid, and the bad guys come and shoot me like you know, a dozen times. He wanted triple shotgun blasts on bare skin. And the effects guy and I tried to explain to him, you know, you can't put triple shotgun blasts on a person's bare skin. You'll blow a hole on him, in him. You know, the hole that he did, that stunt guy did with his forearm that I just told you about, that happened afterwards, after this happened. But, you know, the effects guys explained to him. I explained to him, you know. He said, I want him on his bare skin, you know. I don't want a scuba suit underneath him. So I said, okay, I have another way. You know, just get leather. If you have leather, just cut out the size of the squib and put the squib on it and put it on my skin, you know. I'll feel it, you know, and the effects guy said, it's going to knock the shit out of you. And I said, how much is it going to knock the shit out of you? Well, it's going to feel like you let me punch you as hard as I can. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, okay, you know, I could take a few of those, you know. And so we did. To make a long story short, in the sequence, there's an article, and I explain this in the book, there's a very funny moment in an article that I once read, and I have it somewhere in my files. It's very funny. Somebody wrote in a magazine about this college yuppie who played this scene. He said he was great up until he took those blasts about 4 times, and then he was still moving like he was alive, right?
Because you're hurt.
Because you're in pain.
So, yeah, so they called me. It was like an insult. He said, that was his bad acting, you know.
Oh,
and I looked at this article and I yelled at him through this article. No, it wasn't my bad acting. Let me explain to you what it was, you know.
Wow.
It hurt so much when I was playing dead. When you have your eyes closed and you play dead, and when you don't know when something's going to blow up, right? So you're relaxed. And all of a sudden you feel like if you're playing dead, if I punched you, you'd react, you know.
Sure.
So I was trying to not react, but the pain, you couldn't help but react to take the pain. Wow. So I took the pain and I react, and it looked like I was still alive about 4 or 5 times, you know, because I would react. You know, I would react like that.
Yeah.
They're just death twitches. They're death twitches. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we cut, Verhoeven came running at me, you know. You moved, you know. You brought yourself up when you take the bullet hits. I didn't want that. And I said, no, Paul, just pretend that was just the movement of the power of the bullets exploding that caused me to move. And then he looked at Arnold, and he looked at the cinematographer and everybody out there, you know, in Crewland. Oh, now he's telling the director how to direct. And I'm going, no, I'm not telling you how to direct. I'm just telling you how to make of what we have, that's the way it looks.
Yeah, make it work. Yeah.
Yeah, I never had my eyes open. I never told you I was awake. I never looked, just the concussion of the hits, but he kept it. But what was funny is the article. I found myself screaming at the guy who wrote the article.
You're so mad.
Yeah.
Right to him. And it wasn't my acting.
That's funny.
It's the director's fault.
May I ask, you've worked with Rutger Hauer several times, and Rutger Hauer started his career with them, and they're both good friends. So I was wondering, did you ever talk to Rutger Hauer about him at all, or like get his perspective on his behavior or anything?
No, as close as Rutger and I were, we never talked about him, and I was glad at times, even though we were close. I knew they were friends. And Rutger had a completely different kind of personality. Is Paul Verhoeven. Rutger was great. So to this day, I don't understand why they were such good friends. But sometimes, you have a different relationship. I was a stuntman. To somebody with, like Paul Verhoeven. We were just a bunch of guys getting our butts beat.
I accept violence on a much higher level than a lot of other people do. For me, it's just another way of showing things. It's my dreams or my nightmares or whatever that I basically give to the audience. The scene on the elevator was a good example on that. An innocent bystander is killed. But I thought, okay, this is just a piece of meat. That's a very uncomfortable statement, of course. This whole body was blown to pieces, really. I shouldn't laugh about it, but I laugh about it because it's film. It's not real.